talk about fears. Let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
So I'm asked all the time, Detective Mains, what can I do to keep my stuff off the internet? All my personal information. Well, I don't like that stuff out there. I don't want people to know my voting preference. I don't want people to know my cell phone number. I don't want people to know my address. I'm a private person. I don't want that stuff out there for people to take advantage of me. That's why I use Data Seal. Okay? It personally is the comprehensive data removal service that I trust. So use the link below to receive 5% off of your Data Seal subscription and protect you and your family. If you have concerns that your personal information is being exposed online, use Data Seal. It's the one that I trust and I use personally. So listen guys, there's a link in the bio and in the comment sections. Click on that link and you'll get 5% off of your subscription. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Last thing I want to talk about the last 5 minutes here is something, it's a topic that there's not a lot out there on. It's clandestine graves. Now what is that? Serial killer, something, it doesn't have to be a serial killer, anybody, murders somebody, buries them, leaves them for dead, and that's it. That's a clandestine grave. That's a grave where somebody's buried somewhere close or whatever, and you don't know where it is. How can you spot them? Now, I've had experience with clandestine graves. I've walked the woods many, many days looking for a particular body. Thought I found it. Now, you can't just go out there blind nil, right? Like you're playing 21 or playing spades. You have to research. What am I looking for? So what I've come to learn about clandestine graves is that there is some research out there on it. But just like everything else, just like cadaver dogs, it's hit or miss. Okay? When somebody is buried and the ground is removed, a body's placed in, dirt is placed back, you're going to have a mound of dirt. And you're going to have a little leftover dirt. If a grave is fresh, that's what you're looking for. But when it is older and the body decomposes, you're going to have an indentation in that soil. That's one of the things that you want to look for if you're looking for a clandestine grave. Some of the other things that I learned that you want to look for is the change in vegetation around that and above that area, because of the nutrients that the body releases. You're going to have greener foliage and grasses around that area. Now, I have not seen that. That is research that I have done. Now, I have had a murderer take me to where he said a body was buried, where he buried a body, and it had none of those signs. He had a cadaver dog alerted there the next day, so I was confident that a body was there. I brought in a forensic anthropologist from Mercyhurst College, and he immediately looked at the site and told me there was nobody ever buried there. And I'm like, how the hell do you know that? Let's dig it up. And he was right, you know. Well, at least there was nothing there then. I don't know. Maybe they moved it at some point in time, but I learned from him. Dennis Dirkmat, that's who it was. I remember that name. We used ground penetrating radar, which is a machine that went across the soil, and we would grid it off, and it would send us like a radar sonar signal down into the ground and bounce back and tell you if there's anything that abnormals in the soil. We didn't find anything. But through that, I learned a lot about clandestine graves. I had a person come up, I think he was with the FBI, I don't even remember. I think he drove in from Philadelphia. And he came in with these special sunglasses or goggles. And I looked at him, I'm like, looked up at the overcast sky, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? And I asked him, what the hell are you doing? He says, looking for changes in the vegetation, in the soil. And those glasses brought that out. And I've never seen anybody else ever use them, but it was a learning experience for me. And that's what everything is a learning experience, a teachable moment. And I learned a lot about clandestine graves at that point in time. So that's just a little bit about clandestine graves that I wanted to share with you and my experience, you know, out in the woods, looking. You know, the woods are huge. But if you can narrow it down, you know, and an informant tells you, hey, the guy I'm locked up with is a murderer. He killed his wife. She's missing. He says he buried her off 5 miles off of Route 220 in the woods next to a big oak tree. Okay, well, hey, that's a lead. You got an area. Go off 220, look. It's a big area, right? But at least that gives you an area to start your investigation and start looking for indents in the soil. Next to it, a bit of a mound, which more than likely will have vegetation. Grass will start growing up out of that, depending on how long it's been. Changes in the vegetation around it. Also, animal activity. You know, there will be some digging sometimes into the area. Depends on what wildlife is in that area. So those are things to look for. You know, if, God forbid, somebody's watching this that is a missing person and they have an area where they think that it could be, the body could be. Those are things that you want to look for. Okay, so hopefully that'll help somebody out.